Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is Mustafa Janadu. I'm in Washington, D.C., here with Biodun, who is in Abuja. This is Formula One Fanatics. We're back 3 weeks of races before the summer break, and we're very proud of our show. We want to thank you to our fans in Nigeria and to our fans in the world. And we want you to continue watching our show because we always give counter narratives. We're not going to say what's obvious. We're going to say what we really enjoy and what we see that's different in Formula One. How's it going, Biodun?
I'm fine, thank you very much. I'm
Okay.
great to be on the show, and I'm not in Abuja this this lovely day.
Oh,
I mean, in the
oh,
field, I mean, Osun State,
yeah,
Shokro,
you're
Nigeria.
always around the world. You're a hardworking young man. Okay, so let's get started. Although today you don't have your cap. I'm just kidding you. You know, the funny thing is when I've turned this cap into a ritual. If I can't find the cap, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have bad luck for my show. I was looking for my cap, and I said I can't buy a new cap. But even if the cap disappears, I have to keep the show going. So quickly, give us a breakdown of FP1, FP2. I know McLaren is doing well, Mercedes is doing well, Red Bull is doing okay, Ferrari is doing okay. Give us a breakdown. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just before we discussed free practice through, I knew I did a couple of research with regards some of the teams coming with upgrade before into the
Yeah.
Spanish Grand Prix, and then from some of the what we discovered was there were big upgrades coming from the particularly the Red Bull's car. The Mercedes actually, sorry, they had some big upgrade coming in the Mercedes. They had a new front ring.
Front wing.
Um,
You beat me to it again. I wanted to say I did my research too. Front wing for
yeah,
Mercedes. Yeah.
yeah, a
Which
new
helps because this is an aerodynamic track. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
which has also helped them in terms of performance. The performance of the simulator times is now correlating with the performance of the time on the track, which is good news for James Allison, the technical director of Mercedes. And those are some of the things that came. Also, the Mercedes also came with a new floor wing upgrade and a new diffuser also with the car.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we've seen a better result from Mercedes and a better performance in
Although
free.
although Red Bull is saying that some of these upgrades may not be legal. Yeah, yeah, you've heard that
Yes,
too,
yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. So many teams have filed petitions. Yeah, Red Bull has filed a couple of petitions with the FIA and saying Mercedes are breaching the FIA regulations, but nothing has been said so far on that. And one important thing to know about the Barcelona circuit is a very hot circuit, and it's probably going to be a two-stop race circuit. So teams are going to probably be pitting twice
Tires.
because of the
Tires,
tire.
yeah.
Yeah. So that is one of the things that we saw, and we saw that McLaren also came with a couple of upgrades, while Ferrari is coming to Spanish Grand Prix with small upgrades. Also, Red
Yeah.
Bull also are coming with a brand new side pot and floor upgrade to help with aerodynamic efficiency. So that's some of the things Red Bull has looked at coming into the Spanish Grand Prix with. Yeah, and one thing with that Aston Martin has also kind of suffered is that the Barcelona track is different, and the high speed corner, slow speed corner, and fast speed corner is actually giving Aston Martin a bit of a headache in a couple of races. And
Yeah.
you know that
Yeah.
that is some issues that they are also looking to address. I know that going into the triple header of Spain, Austria, and Silverstone, a couple of things also came with a small upgrade, like the VCAP came with a new floor and bring and a new two new wings also to come in. Like you said, then if we look at the free practice and look at the times with what some of these upgrades have done, you could see that Red Bull with their upgrade, and we know that they've also Max finished P2 in free practice one. Norris stopped the
One, yeah.
time.
And then he came fourth or fifth in
Yeah,
FP2.
Norris stopped
Yeah.
the time in free practice one with a 1 minute
Yeah.
14:28 time, with Max coming in second and the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz in third.
But very quickly, I want to interrupt, but I'll come back. If
Yeah,
he's doing that, he's struggling less than in the other races, which means he's ahead of the curve. Because we know Max, I think Max is a reactive driver. He's the opposite of Schumacher. Schumacher analyzes everything. Max reacts. He doesn't analyze. He reacts, but he's already not struggling as much. So I think he's going to come at least second or first in this race. But you can continue. Sorry. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a great point. And we know Max also you took a new power unit and for this race weekend, and this is the last unit is entitled for this season. The last is entitled for his allocation for this year. He has taken his third new power unit, and we know that Red Bull and Bottas and UK also took a new red wing onto their car, and Alpine was also complaining in free practice one that tire degradation was giving them serious issues. So tire degradation is going to
Because of
play.
the heat. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because so that degradation is going to play a significant part of this race weekend. I think it's going to be very important going into the race. I
Yeah.
think overall, we think McLaren has one of the most balanced car on the track.
I was about to say, and also Sainz and Norris are very good at smooth driving, where they don't the way they drive doesn't put as much punishment on the tires. Yeah, continue. Yeah.
Gas finishing in P6 in free practice one, and Norris stopping the time.
Yeah. I think
P1.
they'll have good race pace, but they need to get pole. That's their challenge, to get pole.
Yeah,
But
another disappointing thing from free practice was Leclerc finishing in P12. That was quite surprising. But he improved.
Sainz came ahead again. Sainz came ahead. And I think Sainz might have more. They always say Leclerc is the fastest driver in F1. I think sometimes they mix up fastest with good race pace. There's a difference between the two, because I think the one lap shows me who's faster, but supposedly from straight line to straight line, Leclerc is better. But I think that's because in a race you have to balance things, so you can't just use your full speed. What do you think? Yeah.
I think so. In a race, you have to balance this. You have to, particularly once you are leading the race, you have to maintain your tire. You have to maintain your brake temperatures. You have to also maintain the pace within yourself and the car behind you, not to over push your car. So the cooling system of your car can have a little bit more time to recover rather than pushing aggressively and fighting to maintain track position. Definitely, it's two different things.
And there's something weird about Verstappen. It's funny because he's an aggressive driver and he wears out his front tires. But from what I've heard, he knows how to adjust and take more energy to the back tire. So he's not a smooth driver, but when his front tires are bad, he has a very good way of redistributing the weight, which is crazy. So it's funny because he's not the greatest. He's not smooth and he wears his tires, but he knows how to redistribute. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things that I think has actually helped Max relatively. We have not seen Max really race. We see Max race hard, and we also see him very conservative in terms of managing his tire. So we have not seen him had any incidents of him over pushing the limit of the tire, and you see him having a puncture or he gets a flat during the race time. He tends to know how to push. He knows that limit of how far the tires can go, and once he knows the tire is gone, he just tells his team in the box that this tire.
And he tells them. And another thing about him, he knows that like last race, Norris should have won. I think Norris was the one that came second, right? Last race. But he made sure that he came second, almost first for pole position. He actually came tied for first. So I think he knew that let me come first for pole position, or let me come P1 or P2, and then through strategy, let me win, because he knows that over a race with tire management and everything, McLaren. So it seems like once again, pit stops and strategy is what helps, and a little bit of luck is what helps Red Bull and Max. Continue.
And that is one department that Ferrari is suffering from. McLaren almost got it right. They just got it a bit wrong in the last race weekend. Even though they have maintained track position, but they tried their best, but unfortunately they came out.
I think they need to focus on getting pole. If they get pole, it's going to be very difficult to beat them. But they need to focus. They're not good at pole position.
Yes, I agree totally.
So one thing I heard. So this is an aerodynamic track, and I think that's going to help McLaren and Red Bull. Red Bull is known about aerodynamics, and they still have vestiges of designs by Newey, even though Newey has left. And everybody's saying that at high speed, the Red Bull has a sweet spot. So I think this track gives them an advantage, and I just think McLaren has to step their game up. What do you think?
I think so. McLaren has to start seeing themselves as championship contender. I think they don't see themselves yet as championship contender. They see themselves as the top three teams, and I think that mentality needs to.
No, because remember early in this season, I was one of the person that said Lando Norris will be a champion one day. They have the car. I just think that they're too humble. They need to realize who they are. Continue. Sorry.
Yes. They need to realize that they are a championship contending team, and they are a potential constructors champion and drivers champion.
Now, I think it's clear that Ferrari is made for slow speed and downforce, and this is not really to their advantage. What do you think?
I think so. I think for Ferrari, I think this upcoming triple header in Barcelona or in Hungary and in Britain would really show me where the Ferrari car is in terms of race pace, race wise. We still know they came with a couple of good upgrades in Imola and the last couple of races, and we are yet to see that transform into positive results due to several issues. But let's see what this triple header
Yeah.
will do.
So I want to switch pace a little bit, and someone has a theory, and I think it may be the case. Maybe what's happening with Perez is that because they're making so many adjustments on these tracks, one track is high speed corners, next is slow speed downforce. He may not be able to find the right setting, and I think that maybe the team is not really focused on his setting for the races. I know you're saying it's just him, but what do you think there may be some validity to that? Because it seems like he did a little bit better in FP1. He came fifth. Yeah.
FP1 he came fifth, and in FP2 I can't see him in the top 10. So that begs the question of consistency with Sergio Perez.
Yeah.
But if there's an issue with setup, I think he's the one that is not communicating properly with his mechanics.
Yeah, and I've heard some things. I don't want to talk bad about Perez because I respect him, but Perez, one thing I'm beginning to realize, he brings in a lot of advertisement, almost $1 billion, and that's one of the reasons they're keeping him. Nescafe, all those ones, and maybe he's comfortable with that because he knows he can't go anywhere. But I'm like, you still have to have some pride and race. So I think he needs to have a little bit more fire underneath his like you said, because Max is aggressive and Max will work with his guys, but maybe Perez might be a little bit too passive and isn't really working on his setup and everything and just expects to be given a car. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that is, like I said, the communication with his mechanics on putting out certain issues of certain performance of the car. You see Max complain, understeer, oversteer, my brake. Max complain.
He complains a lot. And see, Perez is a gentleman. Perez is a gentleman.
Cannot be a gentleman in that thing. Maybe, like you said, he might be comfortable due to some of these endorsements and branding. And
even I saw Max saying something about oversteer and understeer. But the thing about Max is that, and Peter Wolf said this, I'm not Peter Windsor, Max sees things at a fraction. So everybody else doesn't see it, but he can sense a small problem. And he says, oh, this is not good. So he's looking for perfection. He's looking for perfection. Yeah. And I think that's the difference between him and Perez. Because I don't want to say that Perez is lazy. I don't think so. But I think he needs, and go ahead. Yeah.
He needs to communicate better on certain issues.
Because I like Perez. And if not for Perez, Max wouldn't have won his first championship, and Perez has been
I used to like Perez, but after Abu Dhabi in 2021, I don't like Perez anymore.
Oh, yeah, because of the Lewis Hamilton thing. Let's switch a little bit to Hamilton. Now, did you hear that Toto Wolff, that's the name. No, Toto, what's the name of the?
Toto Wolff.
He called the police. He called the police and said, I'm tired of people saying that we sabotaged Lewis Hamilton. I don't think they did it on purpose, but I think the energy is with Russell. So I don't think on purposely they're sabotaging him. But I think because Lewis Hamilton is leaving, the energy is with Russell. And we have to give Russell credit. Russell won on FP2. He's also a prodigy. He's a prodigy, and he's a very good racer. What thoughts do you have on that? Yeah.
No, I think Hamilton topped the time in FP2. He has won the Spanish Grand Prix.
He came first. And I think that the problem with Hamilton is that it's not his problem. When it comes to qualifying, I don't think they're doing it on purpose, but they're putting more energy into Russell for qualifying and for race strategy. What do you think? Yeah. But I don't think they're sabotaging Hamilton. I don't think that. What do you think? Yeah.
No, I think what Mercedes have done is to just, since Hamilton decided to part ways with Mercedes at the end of the season, they've just decided that George Russell is now a new #1 driver, and
they put too much energy. Yeah.
And anything with regards priority of the team and the driver, Russell is first in terms of
because Hamilton has proven to me that.
And everything, Russell is first. It's not like a sabotage. It's more like giving you a preference to someone that you can build towards the next season.
Yeah, but that's funny. He called the police, and also remember when Susie Wolff also sued them. It seems like all of F1 is against Susie Wolff and Toto Wolff. I'm not saying they're great people, but we need to take it easy on them. And that's understandable. It's kind of like, I remember there was a job that I quit, and I told the people 3 months later I'm going to leave. Once that happens, Formula One is like the military. They don't see you as part of the team anymore. They don't see you as part of the effort. So the emotional energy and everything is not going to be into you anymore. So I think that's what's happening. What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is you're spot on.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that we see, and but we know that those Toto and Susie are two competent professionals, and we know what they
Yeah,
can do, and that
yeah.
they are
And I respect them.
at the
A couple of months
pinnacle
ago,
of their
I was
career
making fun of them, but I respect those guys. Yeah.
in FIA. Yeah,
Now,
if they are not good at what they do, they will not be in FIA, and they may say.
no, no, and they're not. They're very quiet. They're kind of like the opposite of Horner. You know, I'm not gonna keep. I'm gonna keep. But
Your
I will
guy,
also say that Horner is very smart because he has a lot of customer teams, which is why Red Bull stays ahead because they use all those customer teams for testing and stuff, even though they don't have advantage. Because especially they're going to be in trouble when it goes to engines. Because when it goes to engine power based in 2026, the Mercedes teams are going to be doing well. Williams and Mercedes. Who else? Who else is one of the Mercedes customers? What's the
Aston
other team?
Martin.
Aston Martin. They're going to be doing well. But I will say that Horner is also good. It's just that he alienated a lot of good people, Marco and Nui. But I think Nui was getting bored
It
anyway.
was
What do
the
you think?
biggest.
Yeah.
No, I think Noe was the biggest blow, and the lack of credit given to him for the work he does. And if you look at the Red Bull team, they were using a triangle structure. Honor is on one end of one pinnacle of the triangle. Noe was on one pinnacle, and the last guy is there.
Helmet.
So the
Yeah.
helmet. So the three of them was kind of complementing each other, but maybe Noe thought that
So
maybe he was doing most of the lifting, and his
yeah,
credit was.
you know what
So
I would find funny? I don't think Michael Schumacher and Nui would not Nui, Michael Schumacher and Horner would have got along because Michael Schumacher builds a team around himself. But I think that Verstappen is not going to go to Mercedes because they have Antonelli and they have Russell. So Verstappen is stuck with Red Bull, and I think that um, um, Christian Horner is going to have to allow him and his father, um, Verstappen and
Yes,
his father,
yes,
to develop to develop the team. And Helmut Marko is still there, right? They're going to
yeah,
have to they're going to have to let Helmut, and they're going to have to find a designer. I think they have. Is their designer now okay? Is that guy going to be able to handle it? Yeah.
I don't know if they are looking at getting after new. I think with regards
I wish
design,
I wish they could get Braun.
yeah, I think Newey had done all the necessary designs up to the car for next season. So what Red Bull has to
They
do is
have to make
implement.
the transition. But you know
So
what's
as
going to happen? The same thing that happened when Red Bull was winning with Vettel. When you go to the engine-based thing, Mercedes will be winning for a couple of years, but then Red Bull will catch up again with aerodynamics and integration of the engine. That's how it works. So I think
yeah,
what you will see is maybe by 2026, what by 2000 next year probably Verstappen will win, but and maybe 2025. But for 2 years or so, he'll lose when that shift comes over, and it's going to be Mercedes, probably Russell or this new kid, Antonelli, or maybe Sainz, because I still think Sainz can make it to the top of Mercedes, but we don't know. But what I'm saying is that Verstappen is going to have to take it to another level in which him and his dad work very closely with the people at Red Bull to design cars based on the way he drives. And I think Verstappen is at the same level of a Newey in which because he works in simulators, he can adapt in any car and push it to the limits. What do you think? Yeah.
yeah, I think you're right, but I can't really say if Red Bull will give US Verstappen that freedom, knowing how a control freak Christian Horner is.
And that's the problem. And the problem with Horner is that he's a dichotomy because he's very good with organizational stuff, but his control freakishness could destroy the team. And
Yeah,
that is what and I but I and he, but the thing about Horner is that he has 51%. He's backed up by 51% of the team, and Red Bull has a lot of money. But the money is good, but he has to kind of step back just a little bit. What do you think?
yeah, I think so. But looking
Mhm.
at the way things has gone this season, maybe due to some of the allegations leveled against him and how the team has transitioned, I think he's a
So
kind of he's watching himself now. He's trying to calm things down. Let it just be all about the team and not individuals.
for now,
For now,
I
yeah,
have
for now.
another theory. Maybe in 3 years, Verstappen will be in Ferrari after Lewis Hamilton leaves because Lewis Hamilton is getting older. Do you see that happening? Because I don't see Verstappen going to Mercedes. Maybe he'll go. Do you see him going there
Uh,
or
you
Aston Martin?
you never can say never in any sport or in
Yeah,
Formula One.
yeah,
Things
yeah. You can never.
drivers change teams so much time. So anything is possible. But let's see
Yeah,
how the
this
couple
is
of
fun.
years.
You know what I like? This is what I like about Formula One because in football we can predict what happens. Like we can predict that Germany and Spain and Portugal. But in Formula One, there's too many variables. So all of it, like you know, the guy Cameron, the crystal ball is murky. We
Yeah.
can't see. But that's what makes it fun because tomorrow, if we're wrong, nobody will say it's wrong because we're just trying to deduce what happens. But let's shift focus a little bit and go to this Antonelli kid who is going to go to F2 next year. He may even go to F1, and he's unbelievable. I think he's just sort of like I don't think he's like a Schumacher. Schumacher worked his way up with kart and was but it seems like this Antonelli guy is just like a raw talent. What do you think about him? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a very fantastic kid. 16 years of age, very fast, very dynamic. And I saw a clip of him in his race in FP2 car in Monaco, and I think he did the testing for the first testing for one of the cars, and he was even faster than I think Hamilton. I believe was it Russell's time. So the kid is quite aggressive
No,
in
he has a lot
attacking.
of rough speed, but I don't know if he has
Yeah,
racecraft. I get the sense that he's been winning too easy and he hasn't had to develop racecraft. What do you
very
think?
aggressive. It's very aggressive. He's a very
Yeah.
aggressive driver. It attacks the corners the way Max is very aggressive going after
He's
the
kind of
corner.
like Max. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, so I think one of the things that I know he will look up to learning when it comes to Formula One is to knowing some of the adaptability of the car. You know, the cars are much wider. In F2, the cars are slimmer, so overtake is easier. But in F1, the cars are wider. But overtaking is quite difficult. Getting close to the curbs is also some of the issues. But I know they've seen a couple of clips, and he's been very good and
Yeah.
very positive in the simulator.
But
So
you know what I think?
that's
I
why
think
all the
if he
wins
goes
is
to
all about.
Mercedes, it's going to take him 3 or 4 years before he can beat Russell. Because one thing about Russell, Russell is a fighter, and we have to remember that Russell also did very well at the youth level. Also, people underestimate how good Russell is. What are your thoughts? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think Russell is one of those rare. I think one of the things Russell is struggling with the last 2 seasons, we may say this. Max struggled with it when it came to Formula One in the first 2 seasons. Consistency, building that
yeah,
consistency,
yeah,
building that pattern, that style, your own aggressive and dynamic style of driving and attacking certain tracks. That is
yeah,
what George Russell is currently doing now in
yeah,
his first season. So next season, I see Russell having
yeah.
been with a very good car should be very, very competitive and be more consistent.
And also, there's another thing with Mercedes, and I give Toto Wolff credit for this. Mercedes never does favorites. You have to work your way. When there was Rosberg and Hamilton, they didn't do favorites. So the thing about Mercedes is that they're not going to say, "Oh, we have Antonelli, now we're going to run away from Russell, or we're going to help Russell." They tend to be favorites until you say you're leaving their team. The only thing I see is that this guy is going to probably go to Williams, Sainz. I would have loved to see Sainz go to Mercedes. It would have been too good. But I think they're trying to push. I think they're changing their philosophy now, and they're trying to push Antonelli quickly because they want to stay ahead of the game. Because they saw what happened with Verstappen when Verstappen came in when he was 17. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mercedes actually had the chance to sign Max Verstappen. I think when he was 16, they did not take that
Because
chance.
yeah, because
And
they want you to go step by step. They want you to go
yeah,
the whole order. But
they
now they're
didn't take
changing it
that
because
chance.
they're
But
ready
now
to start.
they are regretting it. So that's why they
Yeah.
don't want to
So I think
do
that's why they're
that.
willing to push Antonelli a little bit further,
Yeah.
which is interesting. But I would say that Mercedes is more democratic. So yeah, give me your thoughts. I won't cut in front of you this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, like we said, I think they've learned from what their mistake with Max, because US Verstappen also offered Mercedes Max and to join their team then, but they had Rosberg and Hamilton, and they were winning the construction steadily, so they did not want to break that synergy. But let's
Yeah.
see what Nelly Kid will do. I know he's a great talent, and he will be great for the sport, having a new young face. Max is
The Antonelli
relatively
kid is good.
so
But like
Max
I
is relatively 25, so he's old now. So what? Formula One to get to 25 year old,
all
Leclerc.
these man, these sports are getting crazy. The sports are getting crazy, like with the kid, I mean, these young kids is becoming sports is becoming more scientific, and these kids they're not afraid of anybody. They're not afraid of anybody. Like I look at that Antonelli guy. The
confidence
Antonelli guy,
level,
huh?
confidence level is superb.
Superb, unbelievable. So we're gonna head out soon. Let's give our projections. So I'm gonna predict that Mercedes will probably come third. One of the drivers will come third in qualifying, most likely. And I think it's between Verstappen and I'm gonna say Norris. I wanted to say who's it Piastri, but it was
Yes.
gonna be with yeah, but Verstappen, Norris, and Piastri for P1 in qualifying. What do you think? Yeah.
You said Verstappen, Norris, and
either Verstappen, Norris, or Piastri for P1
Okay,
for quality.
okay, no, P1, I'm going Max. I think the Red Bull are saving a
Yeah,
couple of
and yeah, saving
I think
because nobody.
they're saving some things, some data
And you
in
know
free
what?
practice.
And you know what? Formula One is getting very rubbish. Because not Formula One, but the TV shows because they won't give us the data until after FP3. They won't tell us
Yeah,
about fuel loads and stuff. So I think Verstappen is sandbagging now. I think he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's sandbagging. Yeah.
I think Max will be P1. I think Norris, McLaren will be P2. I think McLaren too is hiding a bit of pace, and I
Yeah.
think Mercedes will be P3.
Yeah, I think Ferrari will be a little bit behind. I think Ferrari is going to struggle on this track. Leclerc may come on the podium in the finals, in the final race.
Not
And
Leclerc, it will probably be Sainz, not Leclerc, because they
Sainz,
think
yeah, Sainz, yeah. And I want to say something that Sainz is one of my favorite drivers. He has a great personality, and I'm so sad that he doesn't have a seat at Ferrari or Red Bull or one of the or Mercedes. He deserves it. What do you think? Yeah.
yeah, I think it's sad, but I know he signed a contract with a new team, but we don't know the team.
I think it's most likely Williams or Audi,
Many
but
people are
people are.
saying Williams, some persons are saying Alpine, some persons are saying Haas.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Alpine is in trouble
let's
because Alpine is no
yes,
longer going to be manufacturing anymore.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So they want
So,
to be manufacturing their own engine and getting parts from other
and I
teams.
think
They
Audi,
want to live,
I
they
think
want to
Williams
live
has a
rent.
slight edge over Williams. It's either Williams or Audi. Yeah. I would
I
love
think
to see him go to Audi.
I don't want to see him go to Williams because Williams will offer nothing. I don't want to see him go to Alpine. All those things will offer him nothing. He should just go to maybe Audi, maybe a team
Yeah.
that's that
But I want to
building.
say right now with let's talk about Piastri and Sainz. They're supposedly the number two drivers, but I think they're on the same level as Leclerc and Norris. What do you think? Yeah, they're on the same level. There's just slight differences between all of them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you look at it, there's not much difference between both the Leclerc Sainz and then Norris and Piastri. But
Yeah.
if you look at Norris and Piastri, you say
They qualify better. No.
there's just
Piastri.
a little better consistency from
Yeah.
Norris to Piastri.
Yeah. Piastri has
But
more raw talent.
for
Sorry, go
Sainz,
ahead.
for Ferrari, you can't really point out the difference between Leclerc and Sainz because they are both at par. But
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
Sainz does a little bit better with qualify. I think Sainz is a little bit more aggressive
know.
than Leclerc, but Leclerc has slightly better racecraft. Supposedly, we don't really know. And this is the thing about Formula One: we don't know the confounding variables with car balance. But one thing I have to say about Ferrari and McLaren, they don't do favorites with the two drivers. Would you agree? Yeah, yeah. Maybe Ferrari.
For Ferrari now they do. They are
They're
obviously
pushing Leclerc after he won
but for
Monaco.
McLaren they don't. McLaren they don't.
Because Sainz is leaving. Yeah.
They
So
don't.
yeah. So I guess we're predicting that Verstappen will win on Sunday also. I think that's my prediction. Yeah.
I think that's my predictions with Max will win Sunday. Subject to any other issue, but Max should definitely win the race. But I think
Thank you
McLaren
very
has
much.
a good shot. McLaren has a
Beautiful.
good shot,
Yeah.
but I think we'll still
Yeah.
take it.
So once again, I want to give a shout out to Schumacher. Schumacher has been after he had the accident. Nobody knows how he's doing now, but we want to remember the greats in our sport, and we also want to say we're excited about Antonelli. Thank you very much. Our show keeps getting better. We're all doing. You've inspired me because you do your research, and I've been doing my research also. Enjoy. You're in your hotel room now, right? It looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope you have Esta code so you can order all the foods and everything. And are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch? Are you gonna be busy? You won't. Are you gonna miss the race tomorrow? Yeah.
Yes, I'll be busy the whole day.
I have my phone at my work. And when I'm at work, I tell the parents, "Oh, I'm on my phone. I'm typing in data for the kids. I'm watching the race." Okay. So when can we see you again? We will talk about the post race on Monday, maybe. Or are you busy on Sunday? Yeah.
Sunday I'm working Saturday, Sunday, but let's see, we'll communicate and see if I can squeeze out time, maybe around this time in the evening, Sunday evening, we can do this.
Sunday, yeah. Just text me and thank you very much. To Biodun came up with the idea because we did football. He came up with the idea with Formula One. And when you said Formula One, I laughed. I said, what can we say about Formula One? But we're doing it. Formula One fanatics coming out of Lagos, Nigeria, and Abuja. one of the not the greatest Formula One story, but an interesting one where we give counter narratives. Thank you, Peter. Now I want to say one more thing. During the break, we're gonna have a special series on Formula One history during the break where we follow the greats like Schumacher and Senna and guys, and it's gonna be very fun. Thank you very much, Peter. And I'll probably see you on Monday. Very quickly, who do you think is gonna win Euro? I think it's Germany, but I think Spain and Portugal are close. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be between Germany, Portugal, and France. No, Spain is
Yeah,
already.
I forgot about France. So I think those are the top four. England, nah.
It's
All
not
right.
coming home. It's not coming home.
No, it's not coming home. Thank you very much. And so I'll see you later on in the week. Thank you very much. This is Formula One Fanatics. Like, share, and subscribe to Nigeria's greatest Formula One show. Thank you, Peter. Good night. Okay.
Yes, good night, guys.
Okay.